George Floyd! George Floyd! When do we want it?
Alright guys, the time has come. I am going back to New York. Harlem is being grumpy. We are at the airport today. It's okay, Pumpkin. I didn't know when the right time was to go back. I'm going to a protest today in New York. So I'm meeting up at 11 a.m. in Times Square. My flight gets in at 9:34. So I'm going to get in, I have to drop Harlem off, drop my bag off, and then I'm basically out the house to go protest. So, this is my Uber. Hi, for Jayla? Yes. Alright guys, it's very calm in Times Square right now.
I say, y'all ready? Black lives! Black lives!
We need to do that again. How is everybody feeling? Today, we are out here to stand with Black Lives Matter Greater New York.
That's right.
To elevate the policies. We know that they've been on the ground.
Let them know.
We know that this is nothing new to them. And so we come out here today and we elevate this platform. We elevate this policy, and we stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter Greater New York. My name is Chelsea Miller. I'm an organizer on the front lines in New York, and we've seen the work. And we've seen how thousands of us have come out to mobilize. I'm with the organization Freedom March NYC, and I've witnessed what it means for organizations to stand in solidarity and what we can do and what we can accomplish. And so with that being said, we are ready to hear this blueprint. We are ready to hear and exhume the stories of Black lives, because Black lives. Black lives.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's a shame, but 60 years later, here we are yet again. After we thought we had gotten through Jim Crow, after we thought we had gotten through segregated schools, after we thought we had gotten through voter suppression and unequal housing, here we are yet again 60 years later, sick and tired of being sick and tired. Sick and tired of a system where Black children have to learn how to navigate white supremacy before they even have the chance to learn how to read. I don't know about you, but hell, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Oh, yeah. Although we are sick and tired, we're not without hope today. And the reason we're not without hope is because we remember the words of another ancestor, Ella Baker, who said, "We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes." You know, someone reached out to me this week and asked, "Rev, how long are you guys going to be out there marching?" And my answer was simple. We're going to keep on marching until we overthrow evil in high places. We're going to keep on marching until everyone has a right to health care. We're going to keep on marching until they recognize our basic humanity. We're going to keep on marching until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness an ever-flowing stream. We're going to keep on marching because we have that hope. And it's not a mamby-pamby hope, but it's a radical hope. And it's a hope that says, no justice, no peace. With that being said, I'll pray the quickest prayer you probably heard at a protest. Will you pray with me? Amen. Dear Lord, you already know. Amen.
We don't stand just for ourselves. We stand for our ancestors. We stand for our community. Even when the work is hard, we are relentless. And she is the definition of what the future looks like with our youth activists on the ground. So without further ado, we're going to have New Paul Kiazolu, President of Black Lives Matter Greater New York, give us the word, New Paul.
Wow, what an introduction. Hey guys! excited to be here today. I'm so inspired to see all of your beautiful faces out here today. This is like, I've never thought, and I haven't been around for a long time, but in my 19 years of living, I never thought that I'd see this many people rally across the world for Black liberation. So I am inspired. I was thinking last night, it's really crazy to me how the CIA and the government thought that by killing civil rights leaders during the civil rights movement in the 1960s would stop the movement. Let me tell you something, government. You fucked with the last generation. And young people have been on the front line since the beginning, carrying every single movement that we've seen across this road. So it's time for adults to step aside and uplift us, because we are not just the future, we are the present.
I just want to say that I am so glad to see so many young people out here today, because the young people have got to succeed where the past generations have failed. We have had 52 years since the last major civil rights legislation was passed in 1968, and too little has been done. To hold our elected officials accountable for dealing with this BS that they have ignored for 14 years and everything that they have ignored for the last 52 years. We have healthcare professionals killing us in hospitals. We have nurses and doctors posting racist ass stuff all over the internet and then going to work to supposedly treat our people. That has to end. We've had 3 years of Donald Trump ginning up all this white supremacy, bringing it up out in the open. And you know what? I want to thank Donald Trump for that, because America needed to see that. America needed to see that we were not post-racial, that racism was not over. It is here, it is everywhere, and we all need to do everything within our power to stamp it out. Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Black lives!
Initially, we were supposed to be at the Red Steps, but the NYPD got wind of where we were supposed to be, and so they shut it down because they're scared of our voices. They're scared of what happens when we unite. And so I want us to scream so loud that they can hear us. So Black lives! Black lives!
FTP! Fuck the police! FTP! Fuck the police! FTP! Fuck the police!
When do we want it?
Now!
When do we want it? Perfect.
While the COVID-19 virus has been plaguing the communities that we took an oath to serve, racism has proven itself the deadliest public health emergency. Over the past 500 fucking years, it's taken more lives than any epidemic. I can't breathe. These are three of the most horrifying words. As an emergency medicine physician, I spring into action. Intubation, resuscitation, any life-saving measure to save that life-saving breath. A man, a human being, a police officer tasked with safety. What did he do? He kneeled on a man's neck, taking his life-saving breath. Despite the structural racism that plagues this community, we have failed Black patients. In New York City and the world as a whole, police officers are tasked with public health issues, homelessness, domestic violence, mental health crises, alcohol use disorder, They're ill-equipped to deal with these issues. And because of that, because of the flawed disconnect between the public health system and the criminal justice system, Black people have been cycled within this flawed criminal justice system. And let me tell you one thing. When hospitals turn patients away because they are uninsured or because they're underinsured, they are seeing that these patients' lives are less valuable. And let's talk about looting. Looting is when a fucking hospital system takes Medicaid dollars and takes dollars for treating the poor, and they lie and turn these patients away. Dismantle segregated care. Dismantle the police system.
Stand before you angry and exasperated by the systemic injustice, the state-sponsored violence that plagues our country, the racism against Black people that festers just like the pandemic. Over the last few weeks, we've witnessed police tear gassing, pepper spraying, and harassing protesters demonstrating. Why are we protesting? We protest in the memory of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tony McDade, Ahmaud Arbery. These individuals are among a long list of Black people, and they have been deprived of our most basic constitutional right, the right to live, the right to breathe. At this time, we feel it is important to unequivocally condemn police brutality and all violence rooted in racism. Today, we add our voices to everyone in the streets demanding justice. No justice? No peace. No justice? No peace. No justice? No peace. Many in our brown communities think that this is a black and white issue, that this isn't our fight. I gotta say something today. POCs can be racist too. So I speak directly to my community, my Indo-Caribbean community, my South Asian community, my Hindu community, when I say that this is our issue too, as much as it is everyone else's. And we need to show up as allies. We need to take ownership of the good and the bad in this country and not stick our heads in the sand blindly. When our Black brothers and sisters are brutalized, we need to rise up with them. And today, I unequivocally say, Black lives matter. Today is living proof that protests do work, because we are not just protesting, we are setting forth an agenda. We must support Black-led organizations. I call on my fellow attorneys to make sure you represent your Black brothers and sisters pro bono. I call on my doctor friends to fight for equitable health care for Black and brown people. And to all the politicians out there, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that budgets are moral statements. Defund the police and put more money into community-driven solutions. Put more money into essential social services. Put more money into healthcare, into mental health. Housing is a human right. And for those of us with the ability to vote, it is our moral obligation to vote out those who do not serve us.
Name. Say her name. Say his name. Say her name. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the next speaker? Y'all ready for the next speaker?
Black oppression forces America to come to terms with its sins. And in fact, it grows a heart deep inside of the belly of the beast. I like to tell my students this. In the last 50 years, the United States has seen the largest transfer that has ever happened in history, wealth transfer from the bottom of society to the top, than at any other moment in history. When that kind of wealth transfer has happened, it's happened because of a military coup or a revolution. In the United States, it happened without a peep because the media convinced every one of us that Black people were a menace to society. And the banks and the corporate class ran all the way laughing to the bank. So this is a struggle for the soul of America. It is a struggle to put Black people, the least of these, back in their place in this country. Black people were the people who built the wealth in this country. Let us remember. police emerges as an institution to return escaped slaves back to the plantation.
It don't matter, tell us on TV, familiar face. Another black body with nobody to blame. How did we get here? GPS says I'm on my way. So many questions, oh, I just wanna say, how did it get so bad? How did we get so low? I know where I was going, but now I don't know where to go. How did it get so bad?
Because in this moment, it is not about what the media has to say. It is about what we have to say. It is our story. It is our lives. It is our narrative. Take out your phones and make sure that you are documenting history for yourselves, for your children, and your children's children.
To my unborn black son, I want to start this poem with, I'm sorry, but that's not because I think I will fail you. I just don't necessarily know how to raise you in America, KKK. I don't know how to save you from your skin color or the proper way to stop your blood from being splattered on concrete or when a group of men hate you before you can even breathe. But I think that you're finally old enough to understand the truth. And I know that you don't understand because I have yet to breathe life into you, but every day I am going to pick you up from school. I'll never allow you to play the corner with the rest of these fools. You will only go to private school because what happens when the world doesn't see you like I do? If a cop sees you and thinks that putting a 4-5 to the back of your head is easier than allowing your life to continue, or you're walking home from school and they think that your hoodie identifies you, what do you think I should do? When you stand 6'2" and I tell you to stand tall because the world wants to see the beauty in you, when the truth is they're trying to figure out how to Sean Bell you before you even reach 22, I don't want to raise you in fear. And I'm not really good at mathematics, but statistics show that black men make up 3% of extreme sports, and when asked why don't they join, they say being black is its own extreme sport. How can I protect you? How can I protect you? History shows that black men have no value, so how am I supposed to teach you that you are a king if the world continues to crush you? To my unborn black son, what happens when you bring Sally home and she says that she likes her men covered in chocolate too? And her parents think that your skin color is the start to her rebellion issues when they see a name across paper and they use you as a way to embrace diversity standpoint. When kids ask you, do you live at home with your father too? To my unborn black son, no. I do not know how we will tackle these issues, but being here today shows we can do it together. Thank you.
Crooked cops putting bodies into bags these days. A lot of people done passed these days. But if you notice, we all came together to get past these days, and ain't no violins being played here. All we hear is sirens, no silence being placed here. We all come from blocks where the cops don't play fair. They put a gun to our chest and tell us lay there like we animals, but ain't no circus act being staged here. Just soldiers being praised here. Soldiers who was raised here. This is Black Lives United in faith here. They took a lot of lives. George Breonna, they was just one of them. Eric Garner, Mike Brown, look at what they done to them. Oscar Grant, Sandra Bland, look at what they done to them. Kids scared to run to them because all of this is fun to them, okay? I guess it's all fun and games in America. Together we could stop the biggest gang in America. Jim Crow laws still remain in America. Black bodies swing as they hang in America. They killing all the children that we bring in America. Black men experiencing change in America. Black women experiencing pain in America. Trying to take the change, ain't no change in America. I mean, we let Obama try it. Had a few protests and riots, but after a while, the noise get quiet. Cops on trial, don't get convicted, just fired. Ironic how they never miss when a gun miss misfires. You know they always hit their target. Can't miss a beat. Can't let the streets mix with Harvard. So they turn scholarships into scholar clips, clipping scholars with hollow tips. And it doesn't matter whose name is on a bullet. The truth is, we all look the same on a bullet. Because being black comes with speculation. How you attack suspects and take the wrong life. Suspects you claim to be shadows in the wrong light. Try them like they tried OJ for the wrong night. People in the court, but y'all follow them in the wrong fights. We have the right to be silent. Well, I got the right to be violent. Then y'all wonder why we fight. We fight and 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 we fight until we balance. Fight for our freedom. Fight to their freedom. Fight for our kids, just defeat them.
Don't believe the narrative. Don't believe that we don't have educators. We don't have organizers. We don't have bankers. We don't have doctors. We have all of it. We are a diverse people. We are a powerful people. George Floyd. George Floyd.
George Floyd. George Floyd. It was us out there with 3 and 7 people shutting down highways. All right? When people's attentions was elsewhere, it was us in the streets. But we got diehards and loyalists. 2 Black Lives Matter Greater New York. One of them is my brother Nick Cannon. Now what I'm gonna tell y'all this is don't never, ever, ever call that man a celebrity. That brother is a revolutionary. Ask me, why is he a revolutionary, Hawk? Why is he a revolutionary, Hawk? I'll tell you. Because I met him about 4 or 5 years ago on 34th Street, marching the week they killed Philando Castile. Say his name. Philando Castile. The week they killed Alton Sterling. Say his name. Alton Sterling. And the week they killed Delron Small. Say his name. Delron Small. So we marching. I see Nick. We lock arms. I pass him the microphone. We in front of a couple thousand people. And he marched. We had a standoff with the pigs. They do their pig shit. We do our Black Power shit. It is what it is. Right? And we doing the standoff. And when he left, he was like, yo, Hulk, whenever you need me, call. So we heard about the Republican National Convention in Ohio, and the skinheads and the white supremacists said, Black Lives Matter better not show up. This is an open carry state. So like us being BLMNY, we like, oh shit, we out there. So we went out there, held it down. Charlottesville came around, and the Allies put out a call. We called Nick, he got us out there. Youth marches across the city, the last 3 years running. We called Nick, he held us down. Let me explain something to you. We have never received a corporate or political dollar. This is people funded. And my brother, my fellow revolutionary, who we founded Black Opportunities with, Nick Cannon, is one of the people. Let's hear it for him.
I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired of coming up with catchphrases, tired of coming up with poems, tired of marching. And our ancestors have been tired for so long. And we come together like this often.
Oftentimes we talk about Martin Luther King. Oftentimes we talk about Malcolm X. We talk about the revolutionaries, activists. But the truth is, Black women historically have always been the backbone of civil rights movements and protests and organizing. And so Freedom March NYC was started by 4 Black women organizers on the ground. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a national leadership pipeline, first and foremost. Before I even started Freedom March NYC, women and girls of color, we go into schools, we educate them with leadership development, because it's so important that as we talk about Ahmaud Arbery, as we talk about George Floyd, we can't forget about Breonna Taylor. We can't forget about Sandra Bland. We can't forget about all the countless names of black women and trans black folk who've been left out of the conversation. And so when Freedom March NYC marches, we say black trans matter, black women matter. We always center those narratives because we know an intersectional conversation needs to be had when we're talking about justice, because you can't talk about the schools and prison pipeline without talking about the abuse of prison pipeline, and that's just the reality. We have to pay homage to the civil rights leaders who are women, to the women right now who are organizers on the ground who are doing this work. It is black women, young black women who are mobilizing protests out here in the streets of New York. We are changing the narrative, and that's why it's so important that when we have these conversations with media, when we have these conversations with community leaders, we make it known that it's black women that are driving this movement, and you will center our voices, and you will center our narratives and policy. Otherwise, no justice, no peace. Support youth organized on the ground, support black women leading, trust black women to lead, and make the decisions that impact our communities. Give us the mic. Stop saying that black women are leading and not giving us the mic to demand what it looks like to have the resources to lead, and ensure that we are centering youth voices in this conversation, because we are that generation that is going to bring about change. And that is all I have to say on that.
Every time I seem to set up the camera and speak to you guys, I get really emotional about this, and I have taken a few days to like gather myself and really feel what my emotions are, but every time I come on, it seems like it's still not easy to talk about. My community here on YouTube is black, and I know how difficult the past few weeks have been. We literally went from a global pandemic that had us in the house, scared to connect with people, to, you know, fighting for black lives simply to matter. My friend Chelsea started a organization called Freedom March NYC. They're raising $50,000 to be on the ground to continue protests. Freedom March NYC is a protest group organized by 2 black Columbia University alumni. They are raising funds to support continued nonviolent protests and policy reform. Freedom March NYC is mobilizing to become a youth-led civil rights organization for our generation. I know a lot of people like to know where their money is going to. Training to help organizers in NYC and different cities center the message, de-escalate situations that may occur in the front lines, and equip them with resources to push policy reform. Help with purchasing necessary supplies, face masks, goggles, water, etc., equipment, megaphones, flyers, and travel transportation to various demonstrations to provide frontline support. Efforts to turn Freedom March into an established organization with a budget for staff. Support team and volunteers to assist with organizing nonviolent protests and policy reform leading up to 2020 presidential elections, 2021 NYC marital race. If you're wondering how to support, this is it. This is how. Even when the media turns the cameras off, we must continue to bear witness and mobilize for change. Our goal is 50,000, but we hope to exceed our goal through the rallying of our community, supporters, leaders, and allies. Alright guys, so this is Freedom March NYC's Instagram page. Make sure you take out your phones and follow them, but guess what? So Freedom March NYC does have a website. You guys can take a look at the website, but also, oh my God, woo! Freedom March NYC raised over $50,000. This was just in 10 days. So, oh my God, this is so big. A youth-led organization in New York. So guys, this is big. Make sure you follow Freedom March NYC for things that are going on in the community if you are in New York and you want to tap in. We have all seen hashtags in a movement be present 1 minute and then out the door the next, and we're not even thinking about it. So we have got to continue this. It is so important to vote, and it's so important to get into your community and see where you can actually help. I will be at the policy reform meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
How are we feeling today? I'm so happy for us to come out and see so many new faces marching and standing with us. I'm so happy for us to be in unity right now on the ground, because we know that there are so many alternative stories that are circulating. There are stories of the fact that when we are on the ground, we are looting and we are rioting and we are hoodlums. But look around you. Do you see looting? Do you see rioting? Do you see hoodlums?
What I see is America. The America that we deserve. The America that our children deserve. My name is Chelsea Miller, and I am the co-founder of Freedom March NYC. A youth-led, nonviolent protest group that came out of the stories that were being told about what was happening on the ground. When the looting and the rioting that the media was talking about was taking place, we went on the ground. When there were choppers in the air, when they said the KKK were coming to NYC, do you know what we said? This is our streets. When police cars were boxing us in and we couldn't come out and protest in the daytime. And so it's amazing what 12 and 13 days of showing up and pulling up and lifting our voices can do. We saw what happened when 50 states decided to protest. They changed policies. They pushed for our elected officials to take steps to changing these systems. What we saw this week was change. But what we need is radical change. What we need is a reimagining of this system. 50A has been repealed. That was because we showed up.
Yes.
That was because when we were being intimidated, when protesters were being locked up at one police plaza, we showed up.
Woo! Yes.
So what are we going to do?
Show up.
What are we going to do?
Show up.
What are we going to do?
Show up.
When you look into our eyes, what do you see? Let me tell you what we see. Through our eyes, we see pain. Because waterfalls can't stop flowing from others' eyes after holding on to lifeless hands of children murdered by a system that never gave a damn about them in the first place. Through our eyes, we see anger. Anger after seeing new neighbors welcomed with open arms, Whole Foods and coffee shops, when all you received are eviction notices, displaced from communities your families have invested in for generations. Through our eyes, we see struggle. The ongoing struggle of being demonized for being too us, while others who do not share our identity are praised by society for the same actions. Through our eyes, we see strength. Strength in those who have been stripped of the bare essentials for months on end, but still figure out how to make ends meet. Through our eyes, we see power. Power in our subtle nods, raised fists, black thoughts, because the dark past we have in common. We have no guilt for the crumbs we have fought for, nor the fistfuls we plan to take, as we are simply reclaiming the American pie our ancestors were forced to make. If at any time you thought it was okay to borrow our culture, I invite you to do it now. But instead of rhythmic and lyrical sounds, or interwoven locks, or viral dances, appropriate our pain. The pain of not being responsible for the devastation of your past due to your skin color, but still being responsible for the development of your future while others continue to reap what your ancestors have sown. Appropriate our anger, the anger of millions whose loved ones are still locked up in prison due to a war they never asked for, while our white counterparts dominate the cannabis industry, creating generational wealth in the process. Appropriate our depression, because you know communities such as Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, communities where your grandparents own their own movie theaters and hospitals and homes, which would have lifted you out of your poverty today if it had not been for people envious of your skin, burning it all to the ground with no expectation to build it back up. And we continue to appropriate our pain, our anger, our depression, our trauma for generations. Maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to understand that what is happening today in America is far from liberty, far from justice, far from equality. So until then, I challenge you to reflect on what it truly means to see through black eyes well after February has passed. Whether you want to admit it or not, black history is your history too.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Yes.
We know that we've been fighting for our lives, right? But we haven't been fighting for our lives just in these past 2 weeks. We've been doing it for over 400 years. We know that Juneteenth is approaching.
Yep.
And on Juneteenth, what we are going to do is we are going to unapologetically celebrate Black joy.
Yes.
Woo! We were at home when we saw Black pain, Black death, Black suffering, Black children, Black men in the media. That is how they choose to show us. But we know the richness of our culture. We know the richness of our history. We know what it means when we say Black joy. And so I'm going to have us do a segment that is going to be a beautiful rendition, just a taste of what Juneteenth is going to look like.
It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come.
And Governor Cuomo said that you can go home and pack up, but we are not going home and we are not packing up. Because we've seen this before. We've seen what happens when the cameras turn off, when the lights turn off, and we have to wait for another hashtag. So trust organizers, trust the Black woman on the front lines. We will be doing trainings for different people within various communities who are interested in organizing nonviolent protests coming up to the elections. We will be doing voter registration drives. Tomorrow we will be partnering with Afrochella up in Harlem to do a voter registration drive. Woo! Juneteenth is coming up. We have a massive demonstration that we are planning in Brooklyn that will be celebrating Black joy, Black voices, Black legislation, Black lives. Thus far, Freedom March NYC has raised over $50,000 to create a youth-led civil rights organization right here in New York City that will have the ability and the capacity and the funding to support youth mobilizers all across this country. So when I say Black lives, you say matter. Black lives! Matter! Black lives! Matter! Black lives!
Lose my head.
We got a guy talking about all lives matter with a microphone, but nobody's listening. But we're just standing here. We're about to go get food. Is it like a pizza spot or something?
All right, we'll go to Chick-fil-A then, I guess.
You want to get it right?
That's what I was looking for, Gatorade.
Yep, here you go. We're going to Chipotle. After the madness, we have to eat. And another Freedom March co-founder just popped up. Hi, girl! And the braids are cute. Oh, we got some cute co-founders. Oh! So we are going to the park to eat.
I can do this, but still.
I literally we all got our
There was no
shake.
No, I know.
Wow, I'm outside of coronavirus. Check. We got our shake. Check. We got our shake. Check. We got our shake.
Hey, we gonna eat this! French fries!
What's up, guys? A new day in New York City. So I am feeling better today. I've been really emotional, and today's the first day that I actually got up, did my makeup. I am super excited to celebrate Juneteenth. We will be in Brooklyn celebrating Black joy. It has been an emotional past few weeks. I urge you guys to get into your community no matter where you're at, but if you are in New York, I will follow Freedom March NYC because we will be in Brooklyn celebrating Black joy this Friday coming up. So I'm super excited about that. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you guys in my next video. Protesting has been amazing. So if you can, get out there. I know that, you know, Corona is still out there and we can't see it. So if you are healthy, make sure you're wearing your mask and being safe. But I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys. Love you.